So I know we went through a rigorous process to become what's called a GCPP partner. So for those who do not know what that means, that stands for Google Certified Publishing Partner. So I know it means a lot to us, and we get a lot of access to Google, and we get to do events with you guys and access to alpha and beta. But like, why should the people on this call care, about working with the GCPP? What's the benefit? What's the accolades? Why should they care about that?
Yeah, I want to give like a major call out. So as Jayson mentioned, I went to their offices and got a chance to meet in person, but it was really great to see how well you guys have integrated into like the Playwire SDK. One of the biggest hurdles from the app partners that I work with is the maintenance of all of the individual SDKs that happen on your mediation stack, as well as the adapters for your platform. It turns into almost a full-time job of someone maintaining all of those, updating them, making sure they're caught up to speed, that there's no bugs, that there's no issues with app version rollouts and all of that stuff. So I feel like by Playwire having that SDK in-house, it really simplifies a lot of things. So if you're a partner that, doesn't necessarily have the resources or want to invest in building out a team that is going to specialize in that, Playwire really does take a lot of that out of your hands, which is like more helpful than I can imagine, as well as being able to kind of go in and integrate that mediation stack. So I work with a lot of our dedicated app publishers, so people that have, large teams and, many people that are dedicated to ad ops in particular. I think sometimes people can think it's one of those like, plug it in and you leave it. And there's some partners that I've worked with that have a lot of success in working with Google directly and just leave it on. So when I worked with like, his dad is a soccer coach, he doesn't want to work on optimizing things, like, by all means, feel free to do that. But if you're looking to optimize like the highest value per impression and make sure that you're generating as much revenue as you can, it takes work. And going in to update those CPMs, making sure that you're adjusting your waterfall and doing all of that takes a lot of analytical work, a lot of manual work, a lot of updating. And Nick and Jayson have really automated that for you. So I think it's hugely helpful in terms of like the maintenance. You don't have to work on anything. They'd also showed me their dashboard, which was extremely impressive as to how detailed and nuanced it can get. Definitely can feel free to like poke around in there, but I think that the best part, in my opinion, of working with a GCP partner is that you don't have to. Like, you can go in there, you can drill down to all the numbers, you can learn as much as you want and feel informed, but you can also know that the partner is certified by Google and they're optimizing everything to the best of their ability with like a Google account manager. So if you want to turn it off, like your brain off, and not think about that and go focus on building a new app or doing something else in your business, I feel like it's also really reassuring to know that that's covered.
Awesome. We appreciate that. Yeah. It is a full-time job just keeping all the SDKs up to speed. Honestly, I don't think people realize, even from header bidding, from a web perspective, but like these things change, parameters change, things just stop working. Everyone thinks it just smoothly happens. Like it's almost like, your cable on your phone or your TV. It's not. Things are breaking all the time. And Nick, is there anything that you can call out that we do that you think people should be made aware of?
Yeah, I mean, so one big thing is that we simply provide support for doing the integrations. It's not just, so we manage those SDKs, but then we also sit down with you and really explain how the code works, how to do the integration. Sometimes we're sitting there with people in a Slack channel or even in a video call doing essentially pair programming with them, just making sure that whatever they need in order to get that integration going gets done. We also try to limit the pace at which new releases have to happen. And that's partly by taking some of the code, any code that we possibly can, out of the SDK itself and moving it into the cloud and managing that for you. There are a lot of cases where we can make upgrades without you actually having to change any code in the application as a result. That's a big one. We also integrate a lot of other features like our data management platform that allows audience segments to be generated and transacted upon, which is really important for getting more advertising revenue. We deal with consent management. So for those of you who don't want to deal with GDPR and CCPA and other privacy issues, which I think is everybody, Playwire comes in and takes care of that for you. And then a big one is the brand dollars themselves. I mean, we have a whole direct ad sales team. They're out there and they're not only transacting on traditional IOs, but they understand how to do programmatic. They understand how to do programmatic specifically within app and how to do deals that cross app and web too, which is becoming increasingly important. So it's all those things. And then finally, the way that all the data is brought into our platform, where we're combining data that some of which is coming from the app itself, some of which is coming from GAM, some of which is coming from other sources, bringing it all together so that you can, we think, really get a different and unique perspective on not just the advertising, but the users and how people are interacting with your application in a way that ultimately generates those ad dollars.
You actually brought up a good point, and I don't think we touched on it. I mean, what are the limitations when it comes to like PMPs and PGs and direct deals from AdMob to GAM? I don't think we ever touched on that piece in particular. So that's a big deal, right? Because we have a 35-person direct sales team. I don't think we could accomplish the same things with AdMob that we do with GAM.
Yeah, and I think that that's the key differentiator, right? And so Google wants to make sure that we're finding the right product fit for the right customer. And so there are people where AdMob makes a lot of sense for them, but if you are looking to, really leverage direct deals, Ad Manager is absolutely the one for that. So I guess I'll give you like an overview of the AdMob direct capabilities. We have something that's called the campaigns tool. It's very elementary. It isn't like, there's no, I guess, innovation to there. You can set up like a couple of different types of campaigns. I think there's maybe like 3 different styles. There's no payout tool. There's no integration with the buy side. It's all personal, setup. So if you wanted to run a house campaign or something for your own app, you could do that. You could also have to manage the revenue like externally out of the AdMob portal with reporting for any type of direct deal that you wanted to transact. There's no programmatic proposals, there's no programmatic guarantee, there's no programmatic direct. It's very bare bones. I think it's really intended for the type of pure play app partner that isn't leveraging the direct components too much. Like our high level, like one pager of like which product you should choose, Ad Manager is the one for you. If you have any web inventory or if you're working with any direct partners, like definitely go there on the app space. And so I think you have a lot of benefit to being able to do that via also the Playwire team, as opposed to having to hire those direct people, making sure that they're trained on all of the different ways to sell direct. I think it can be quite a bit challenging. That being said, Ad Manager also allows you to do those types of house line items pretty easily. So you can do that. It's just far more robust, I think, on the Ad Manager side.